All right, we are live. Monday, May 24th. I'm here with Big Marcel. It's Adam Martin. It is the MMAOB Daily Podcast. How's it going, guys? Pretty good card on the weekend. Marcel, we'll talk about it today with you. Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt going to war there in the main event. Some pretty good scraps. And Bellator as well, Marcel. But how's it going with you, man? How was your weekend overall? How's everything going there in Holland?
Yeah, my weekend was good, man. Watched some fights on Saturday, and on Sunday, watched some racing and watched some. We call it football. You guys call it soccer, but I'll keep it at football. So yeah, it was a good sporting weekend, man. So yeah, for watching, not for doing myself, but watching.
Yeah.
It was fun, man. It was okay. Just laid back and got to go back to work again tomorrow. So yeah, how about you, man?
Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it's been busy. I'm always working, but it's all good. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, UFC was pretty good. Bellator was pretty good. Just man, just grinding away. This week's actually like an off week, so I'm actually looking forward to like catching up on some sleep because it's been like 8 straight weeks of just grinding. The footage, writing the articles and stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting a little bit of a break. Obviously, I still have my full-time job at BJ Penn, which I even work today, but. The betting stuff takes a break for a week, Marcel, but we are going to recap the card here today. So UFC Vegas 27. And Marcel, you were kind of like the star of the show, I thought, Marcel. They kept putting up the big Marcel tweets on bottom left. Have they shown yours before? I think they have, right? But it was more this time, eh?
Yeah, but not like 4 one event. So I was kind of people were messaging me like, dude, your tweet is there again. It's like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't someone. I think I know who's doing it. I'll say that, but I don't know for sure. But it's cool. It's cool to be on there because I got people that like I haven't talked to in like a while that messaged me and been like, "Yo, I saw your tweet on like TSN or ESPN or whatever." Right? It's kind of cool. But Marcel, honestly, like it's cool. But for me, it's like I'm just tweeting about the sport because I love giving my observations. I've been doing it since I started watching the fights. You know what I mean? So like it's like for me, it's not even I don't even care really that much about it because I'm always going to share my opinion whether or not they put it on. But even some of my tweets were like kind of like I was talking about Yan. I said she got exposed. I had some people coming after me saying she didn't get exposed. Carla's just that good, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure she got exposed too. Like she has no takedown defense against a grinding type of wrestler like that. Anyway, first, so we'll talk about the fights here. UFC Vegas 27, Marcel, Rob Font defeats Cody Garbrandt, 5-round decision. How did you score the fight? I actually had a 49-46, which is a different scorecard than judges because I gave the first round to Cody and the last 4 to Font. What did you score it as?
I think the only round you could give us to Cody is the first round. Yeah. I gave it to Rob Font because I think he did more damage. Mm-hmm. And I think Cody, he had 2 takedowns through, but didn't do a lot with it. So that's why I gave it to Rob Font. But the first round was the only round I would say it was possible. Then Cody started very well in the second round, I think, but he gave it away in the last 3 minutes, So I gave that one to Font. Third and fourth were pretty easy for Font. Then Cody started again good in the fifth round, and then Font took over. So for me, it was 50-45, but I can see somebody giving the round 1 to Cody with a 49-46. So that was possible. 48-47 was bad in my opinion.
Yeah, it was an interesting fight. Rob Font looked great, obviously. I mean, we knew I think we both picked him, right? I'm pretty sure we picked him. I mean, it was a tough card. Like, I obviously struggled a bit with this one. I think Marcel struggled a little bit too. Most people did. No one aced this card. This card had a lot of upsets on it. I think there were 6 upsets, right? So it was a crazy card. But, yeah, Rob Font was a guy I really liked on this card just because, again, the boxing and the length and the reach really came into play. He had, like, a 6-inch reach advantage. You could see it in the fight, like, and he utilized it well, right? Like, he actually uses his jab well, unlike a lot of other MMA fighters, right? So unlike Stefan Struve, a guy who never was able to use that reach advantage, like Rob Font uses it really well in this division. So
stop using my countryman as a bad example all the time, man. No, just kidding.
Anyways, yeah, I thought Font looked great, but I want to talk about Cody for 1 sec because people were asking me like Marcus Williams, who's always on the podcast here, he's always messaging me and talking about the fights, and he asked me like to talk about this. Like he asked what I thought about Cody's performance, and like for me, it's like. His chin held up. I'll say that. His chin held up really well, better than I thought, because he took some big shots in this fight. But here's the problem with his chin now. Because he was knocked down 3 straight fights, it looks like, guys, he's backing up a lot. He doesn't want to get knocked out again. That's kind of what I think happened in this fight. he was okay with backing up for 5 rounds and probably going to lose the fight rather than getting knocked out, it looked like, because he did actually throw some nice punches at times when he did walk forward. He landed some good shots at Rob Font, but most of the fight was him backing up, man. So, he looked like an off night. Obviously, the COVID thing, I think affected him. I mean, he looked like I've never seen him that tired in fights before. Like, yeah, he did have a bit of a layoff though, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, I just think, man, I thought this even coming into this fight, he's just not a top contender anymore. And I'm just wondering who they're going to give him next. Like, I know Cole was saying in his article on BJ Penn that he thought Sean O'Malley versus Cody would be a good fight, and I kind of agree with him, to be honest with you. Like, maybe that's the fight you do. You build up Sean and see if he's ready for that next step. Because at this point, it doesn't look like Cody. He's just he's below that elite level now. Like, Rob Font is right there, I think, and Cody's just a little below that. But for Rob Font, I mean, this is a huge win. So yeah, the winner of TJ and Sandhagen makes sense. Or there's a few other guys here. I mean, listen, if Sterling's going to be out for a while, you could do Peter Yan and Rob Font for an interim title. If Sterling's going to be out for a while, you could do it, Marcel.
I'm against that.
Why? If he's going to be out for like 9 months or whatever, I don't know. He says he's going to be out for 6 months. I'm just saying that. Who knows how long he's going to be out for, really?
I honestly think, man, if you want to go for a title fight, you strip Aljamain Sterling from the title, man. You either let him defend the title or you strip him. Yeah.
If he's injured, then
it's not even the way he won it, man. And then he getting injured, and then he getting surgery. Like he said, he had that problem already before he got there. So he got the surgery after he got the championship. You know what I mean?
I don't think
they will definitely not do it. But I'm just giving my opinion here.
Oh, for sure. I just think that instead of taking the belt, they would just do an interim belt. But yeah, I think, like I said, Rob Font's right there. So I don't know. Maybe those are the fights. Frankie Edgar would be a good fight too. Go ahead.
I feel like the problem here is that TJ fighting Sandhagen, and I think if Sandhagen wins that fight, he definitely deserves a title shot.
Yeah,
and if TJ wins that, TJ wants a title shot if he wins that fight for sure, and he's gonna ask for that title shot. So the thing is, I don't think either one wants to fight Rob Font next after they win. You know what I mean? So I think Rob Font might have to settle for the winner of Pedro Munoz, Jose Aldo. Yeah. And Pedro Munoz is a guy he lost to before, so that's a good one to get back. And Jose Aldo is still a name. He's a huge name. He's, in my opinion, the greatest of all time at featherweight. He's not the current best fighter at featherweight, but he's still the greatest, in my opinion, over there. So that's a huge name. For Cody, the thing is with Cody, like we said, man, he was backing up a lot. But I think as long as there is no knockout threat for Cody in a fight, he will do well. But against Rob Font, there was a knockout threat, Against Assunção, there wasn't a knockout threat, for example. So I think that's a thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we'll see what they do. But I honestly feel like, Pedro Munoz and Aldo is a great fight. They just announced that fight. I feel like those guys are just a little step below Rob Font right now. I think Rob Font has proven he's like an elite guy at this point. He beat Marlon Rice, he beat Cody Garbrandt. Like, to me, he's going to be in the top 3 now, I think. So to me, he's right there. The problem is Sterling won the belt, right? Like, that's screwing up the whole division now, because it seems like Yan's ready to fight again in the fall, probably like UFC 266, Blachowicz and Glover. I would assume maybe they would do the bantamweight title as the co-main event for that card or something. Just an idea, but it doesn't look like he's going to fight for a while. Anyways, let's go on to the next fight here. Good call here, Marcel, with Carla Esparza. I definitely thought she had a chance. I mean, I thought this fight was really close, but I thought Yan's takedown defense would hold up. It obviously didn't. Not even close. I mean, she didn't defend, I don't think, a single takedown. Carla just relentless to the wrestling. And I thought, I mean, you guys saw my tweet. Like, some people disagree, but I thought Yan got really exposed in this fight. She's not an elite fighter in this division like we thought she was. She doesn't have takedown defense at all. I don't even think it would just be Carla beating her. I think, there's other fighters that could beat her in this division. There aren't even as good as Carla. But I think Carla proved with this fight she is back. She's ready for that rematch. And she beat Rose the first time, guys. I did predict that fight correctly, I believe. But this time around, I don't know if I would favor Carla. But with this wrestling, this elite wrestling, she obviously has a chance against anyone. Like, if she can get Rose down, which I think it's going to be hard to do because Rose has like much better takedown defense, a much better footwork than Yan. But if she can get her to the ground, and jiu-jitsu too, if it's on the ground, by the way. If she gets it to the ground, though, she can grind on anyone. I just think that her getting the finish here, I mean, to me, that's a title shot. That screams, give me the title shot. And Dana White's saying now he's not sure if they're going to do Carla, if they're going to do the rematch with Weili. Why would you do the rematch? I don't know why she got knocked out in 2 minutes. give Carla the fight. She's earned a title fight, I think, at this point with the 5 straight wins. Marina Rodriguez, that's a big win. Michelle Watterson's a pretty good win. Alexa Grasso, Jangarova, but this finishing Yan via crucifix position TKO strikes with the elbow. Man, that was absolutely vicious, Marcel. Title shot, yes or no?
Then I was just a fucking crybaby, man. Let's be honest. He didn't want Carla to win this fight. He expected Yan to win this fight. And now Carla wins, and then he's like, we're not going to know what we're going to do. Man, she has 5 straight wins against good opposition. If Yan won this fight, he 100% would have done Yan against Rose Namajunas, you know? And he's just salty that both his Chinese fighters he wanted to match up with against each other lost, and they can't fight for the belt right now. The thing is, Esparza defeated Yan, and she did decisively, you know what I mean? Like I always say, man, if you come in the UFC, you gotta have one of the two. You gotta have a good ground game, or you gotta have takedown defense. If you don't have one of the two, you won't be a champion. Look at Joanna; she is not great on the ground, but she had great takedown defense many times, you know, and she became the champion. So, yeah, of course, Esparza against Rose, and listen, man, why not Weili against Joanna or Weili against Yan? I don't care, you know. Do something, but I think Esparza deserved the title shot, and as a rematch, I think Rose would love to run that one back. I think Rose has developed a lot since that first fight, and Esparza has always a certain level in her game, and I think she did very, very well in this fight. You know, I think she finished. Normally, she never finishes the fight, but she did now, and she did impressively. So I think she deserves the fight, and I think Rose would like the fight as well. So why not do it?
Yeah, it's her first TKO in the UFC. She does have the submission over Rose in her first fight. You know, quietly, man, like she's put together a really good resume. Like Rose Namajunas is a great win, and you got Yan, Rodriguez, Watterson, and also like Calvillo is a pretty good win in her record. And there's Morose, even her early career.
Yandiroba.
Yeah, I know, but even her early career, like Invicta and Bellator, like she had some good wins. Nina Nunez, excuse me, and Felice Herrig. So yeah, gotta get that right. It says Ansaroff on Wikipedia. They gotta fix that. Anyways, she's quietly put together a good resume. And you know what, guys? Like she's lost 4 fights in the UFC, right? Joanna smashed her, and like you said, that fight. And I was watching again, like maybe last month. Man, Joanna put on like a masterclass of takedown defense, like you just said. Like her sprawl was unbelievable in that fight. It was like kind of like Francis against Stipe. And then Joanna obviously just pieced her apart in the feet. So she got decisively beaten in that fight. And then the Tatiana fight, which is like she was fighting another wrestler who's bigger and stronger than her, who's moving up to 125 now. So that was a horrible matchup for her. She got absolutely destroyed. But the other 2 losses, man, I mean, the Randa Marcos fight was a split decision. That was in actually Halifax in Canada here. She could have won that fight, and it was a split that didn't go her way, but she probably should have won that fight. And the fight with Claudia Gadelha, a lot of people thought she won that fight too. I think you thought so. I think, right? So
no, the funny thing is, I thought she won against Marcos, and I think Claudia did enough to win against her.
That's kind of what I felt. Honestly, I felt the same way. But anyways, like she's just been competitive against everyone, so she's looked good. I don't know what they do with if they do the rematch. Or, like I don't know. Like I feel like I would rather if they're gonna do a rematch, I'd rather just see Joanna and Weili go again. Do the rematch to those two. Like let's see that fight again. And then you do Yan. I think she needs to step down, though, Yan here. I'm not sure who she'd fight. Let me take a look at the division. I mean, she's ranked like 3, right? Somehow. She has no takedown defense, apparently. I thought it was okay it looked okay against Claudia, but you know the thing is, Claudia got tired in that fight. You know? She got really tired. Nina? Yeah, you could do that fight. That makes sense. She's number 7. Yeah. That's kind of like a safer kind of fight, I guess, against another kind of striker. Yeah. That fight makes sense. Or even like Watterson. They haven't fought yet. They could do that fight too. That's another fight, potentially. So yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Man, this fight was such a war. I love this fight, Marcel. I absolutely love this fight, man. These guys came to battle, man. Jared Vanderaa pulls off the upset here, Marcel. Defeats Justin Tafa via decision. This fight did not go how I expected it. I thought someone was going to get knocked out in the first round or they would both gas horribly. I did not expect these guys to go 15 strong. And Vanderaa I thought he looked awesome. Like, I think his kickboxing looked really good in this fight. I know that Tafa just kind of stands there and he can get teed off on. Now we know that. But, Tafa is a tough dude, man. He took some big shots, and Vanderaa took some big shots. And there was this, like, huge cut in the second round. So much blood was on this guy. And I was scared, Marcelo, they might stop the fight. But the cut man fixed his cut really, really good and stopped the bleeding. And the fight went on to be a 3-round decision and one fight of the night. So, awesome fight, Marcel. What do you think of this one, man? I love this fight.
If you told me before this fight this was going to be fight of the night, I would probably lock you up and throw the key away. You know, because man, I was like, what the hell is this fight doing on the main card? But
You
they
were
proved me
bashing it
wrong.
last year. You were like, why is this fight in the main card? And I told you, I'm like, because someone's going to get knocked out. But I didn't expect this. Go ahead.
Nah, I mean they did very well and deservedly got the fight of the night. You know, Van der Ray looked good. Tafa, yeah, Tafa got hit a lot. You know, I think it was, by the way, a fun scoop from Brandon Fitzgerald that he said that Junior Tafa is fighting in the Contender Series, his brother, coming over from Glory. Yeah, I think Van der Ray did good, you know, but I have no idea what you have to do right now with these two guys. I think they keep Tafa on the roster because they need the heavyweight. So I would be surprised if they don't keep him on the roster. Van der Ray, yeah, what would you do with Van der Ray? Maybe against Marcos Rogerio de Lima?
I was just thinking Ben Rothwell, man, who fought in the same card. I don't know, maybe that for Andre Arlovsky, because he was talking about those fights. He was mentioning them at the press conference. Not? Yeah, Andre Arlovsky was a guy he said he'd love to fight just because he respects him so much. That'd be a good fight. I feel like he's going to get a decent name in this next fight because this was a really exciting fight, I think. Kind of a breakout performance by this guy. You know, maybe I was selling him short, breaking the fight down last week. You know, guys, like I felt like after that fight with Spivak, I'm like, this guy's not a UFC contender. But honestly, looking back at it, it's like Spivak is a lot better than we think, I believe. You know, he's a potentially a top 10 guy. I mean, he's fighting Olenek. That's a fight he probably should win, right, at this point of Olenek's career. So it's not a bad loss. Actually, I saw he congratulated him on Instagram, which was cool. He was like, "Oh, congrats on the win, man," which is I thought really cool. You know, they just obviously had that fight a few months ago. But yeah, I think it was a great performance by him. Here's the question for you: for Tafa, he's 1-3 now, but do they cut him or do they sign him into a new contract?
Maybe they match him up with Georges Dano or something, you know. But maybe they keep him around. I mean,
I think they will.
Yeah, because they also were gonna give his brother Junior Tafa a shot at Contender Series. So I'm pretty sure they're laying pretty good with the UFC, I guess. So I'd be surprised if they cut him.
His record's 4-3, but I think he's a pretty decent prospect. He's only 27, guys. I mean, he's still kind of like he's had 7 fights and 4 of them in the UFC. So the guy's kind of learning on the job. To me, he's like, you know, he could fight someone like Greg Hardy. He could fight Georges Danho, Marcos Rogerio de Lima, someone like that, lower ranked guy. Or even like Chris Barnett. They could do that fight too. The guy who just lost to Ben Rothwell on this card. Someone like that. I don't know if that is that Harry Hunsucker guy on the roster or they cut him.
I have no idea, to be honest. Yeah,
someone was saying he got taken out of the fan rank. I don't even look at that, so I don't know, but I heard that. So anyway, someone like that, like I feel like he's still a decent prospect, right? Like why would they want to let him go? Because then he'd just sign with like PFL or Bellator, and it's like, you know, he couldn't get good. He could get decent, you know. But I still feel like, you know, this guy's not Mark Hunt. A lot of people were saying that early in his career, like this is the next Mark Hunt. He's just not the same guy. He's not Mark Hunt. To be honest with you, he's not even Tai Tuivasa. I feel like he's a step below even that. But he's still, I think, potentially like bottom tier heavyweight quality. I don't think they're going to cut him just yet. All right, let's go to the next fight here. I mean, this fight, I knew it was going to be really close. We were talking about it last week, Marcel, Dumont and Spencer. Dumont ends up getting split decision win. Spencer she just couldn't let her hands. She had nothing on the feet. I mean, I think we knew her strength was limited. She just didn't let her hands go, and Dumont out-grappled her. The third round, Dumont got tired. Spencer took her down. I thought 29-28. Dumont was the right score here. The scorecards are really bizarre. 30-27 is weird for Dumont because the third round clearly was Spencer. Then even Spencer 29-20, I don't agree with it because like the first round, I definitely feel like, you know, Dumont won that round. So, and she definitely won the second round. So I don't know, Marcel, what did you score it?
Yeah, I saw triplets of somebody scoring 10-9 for Spencer in the first round. And I sent you that tweet. It's like, yeah, very weird. But like I said, like you say, man, the first round I gave to Dumont, the second round to Dumont, and the third round was for Spencer. It was 29-28 Dumont, and a very good win for her, you know. And I said for fun, like the fight between Dumont and Nunez has to be happen next for sure. And people are, you're crazy, this and that. Yeah. It's like, guys, I'm a little bit joking here right now, you know. Dumont immediately said that she wanted to go back to 135. So, but if she stays at 145, I mean, who else is going to fight Nunez for the title, right? So, yeah, she will probably go back to 135, and they can match her up with. The only thing is, can she make weight at 135? Because that's been the main issue for her, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Let's move on to the next fight, though, because honestly, that fight was kind of a stinker, guys. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of like getting bored from that fight. It just wasn't an exciting matchup. I will say that Dumont, she got the win, and by default, I think is the number one contender. But for Spencer, it was a dud performance. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they did release her, but they might just do that Danielle Wolf fight again, and then I don't know. This division's just weird. I don't understand the point of it really in the UFC because there's like 4 fighters in it. There's literally 4 fighters in the division, so I don't get it.
And
Anyways,
the champion isn't even 145.
it's a weird division, man. I just don't see that. I don't see the point of it. Like I think they thought Spencer maybe or Dumont did win, so they do have a new contender. So it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened, I guess. But I think that most people thought Spencer would win, and she just doesn't. She's so one dimensional, man. Anyways, let's go to the next fight here. Another guy one dimensional, man. Bill Algeo. Just I don't know, man. I completely overlooked Ricardo Ramos in this fight. Completely overlooked him, and I'm just like dumbfounded, because like sometimes I just, my breakdowns are like on point. This fight I was completely wrong about. Like Algeo, I thought I'd be able to keep the fight standing, just outpoint him, but Ricardo Ramos, I think, outpointed him on the feet and then was able to take him down 6 times. Marcel, I was surprised how easy it was to get down. 8 times, excuse me. So yeah, it's a lot of takedowns. It was a great performance by him. He's 6-2 now in the UFC quietly. He's only 25 years old, Ricardo Ramos. For a guy he's pretty young, man. So, yeah, Marcel, I mean, he's a pretty good prospect, and he looked good in this fight. Marcel, what do you think, man?
Adam, remind me every time I'm picking against Ricardo Ramos, you have to pick for him, and when I pick for him, go against him, because I'm always wrong with picking Ricardo Ramos fights. Yeah, he did look good, man. I thought some people saying like Aljo should have won 29-28. I don't agree with that. I think Ramos won. He deserved to win the fight. Wasn't my favorite fight to watch, to be really honest, man. I thought it was really a lot of the same stuff the whole damn time. And but yeah, good win for Ramos. Didn't saw one coming. I thought Aljo would have fought smarter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, good win for Ramos. And yeah, Aljo, I don't know, man. What's gonna happen to him now? He's 1-2.
Yeah.
First fight was good. Second fight was good. This one wasn't. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, he's probably signed a 4-fight deal. I'm assuming, right? So he'll probably get the one last fight. I don't know who he'll fight, but somewhere in the bottom of the division, they'll get cut, like Luis Saldana or someone like that, who just fought Jordan, something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see, but man, or even like Ignacio Bahamondes, maybe that'd be a good fight, right? I don't know. This guy just disappointed me in this fight. I thought he would look better. Completely wrong. One thing I will say, like Ramos, and I talk about it all the time, is more upside because he was 6 years younger, right? He is 6 years younger. So 25-year-old fighters get better. He's kind of like that guy Thiago Moises at 155, who's getting better every fight. He's only 26 years old, I think, right? So they're getting better at a young age. It's always something to keep in mind and something I overlooked. This fight, see, that's the thing in this fight, this next one, I was kind of banking on upside here with Edmund, and I knew it'd be a close fight. I talked about it ourselves, like going back and forth all week. I ultimately ended up with Edmund. I was just like, you know what, I'll take a shot on the kid. I believe in him. But man, it just, the first round he looked great. I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna nail this pick. It just fell apart, Marcel, once again. Completely fell apart. No cardio, takedown defense was not on point, and Hermanson obviously just put it to him with the ground control, the mount, strikes from mount. Overall, Hermanson won the fight 29-27 on the judges' scorecard, which is a good decision, I think. But yeah, Marcel, I don't know what to say about this one, man. I just like Edmund looked so good in that first round, and I'm like, man, this kid's back and just fell apart. Give me your thoughts on this fight, man.
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. I mean, Edmund looked great in the first round. Beautiful striking, and he tagged Herman a few times, and Hermanson, and I was like, yeah. Pretty from my dad's name Herman, so it's for me pretty common to hear that name. Yeah, he tagged Hermanson a few times, and he did very well in the first round. And when the moment the second round Hermanson got the takedown, it was over. It was over for some reason. Couldn't get up, couldn't get things going. Hermanson evened it in the second round, and the third round was a complete blowout for Hermanson. He won that third round 10-8. It's a great, well done by Hermanson, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these comments, and I agree with you guys. I was just thinking the same thing. Might be a time you camp for Edmund. I agree. When I saw Edmund Taverdian with him at the weigh-ins, I was like, oh man, he's training with Edmund. I was like, Edmund's got no ground game. Yeah, he does. He panics a little bit on his back. He just kind of got he kind of got mentally broken a bit once he got taken down. It was like happening again. He's like, oh man, this is happening again. Like his striking is obviously next level, but the takedown defense just didn't hold up and doesn't have much off his back. Doesn't threaten with submissions really. Yeah, Marcel it was a disappointing performance, I think, overall by Edmund. But yeah, Jack Hermanson looked pretty good, obviously. And where's Marcel? Here he is. What's up, Marcel?
I have problems with my mic.
It's okay now. Keep talking.
Yeah, but I don't hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Shoot. Well, maybe take it out then. Just do without them. Yeah, guys, I'm with you. I mean, Edmund, I don't know what to say. He's only 23 years old, right? So he's still super young. I think right now is a good time to take a step back with him, though. If I'm the UFC, I'd give him someone like lower ranked in the division just to get his confidence back. Because, man, I feel like after these last two losses, like they weren't just losses. They were pretty one-sided. This fight obviously was competitive in the first round, but after that, he just fell apart completely. It was really bizarre. Let me just take a look at the division right now. I feel like he might fight someone ranked. Like, I mean, you could beat someone like Kevin Holland, but I feel like Kevin probably going to try 170. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying for like who Edmund can fight next. I was saying maybe Holland, but I don't know if Holland's going to move to 170. Maybe do like Jotko. That'd be a fight he could win. Maybe that's too hard of a fight. I don't know. Like maybe do Buckley or something. I don't know. What do you think, man?
Yeah, it's tough to say, man. Maybe a DiCirico. Is that an option?
Yeah, he's fighting. He's injured right now. He was supposed to fight.
He's injured. Yeah. So maybe that's an option. Hard. What do you want? Do you want to keep giving a ranked opponent, or do you thinking about giving him a just unranked guy? It's tough to say. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would probably go with a just unranked guy, but yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I don't know. I feel like they should build his confidence back, guys. But the UFC is just a meat grinder right now, man. I mean, like everyone's good in this division. There's no really like bad fighters. He could fight an older guy, or someone on the decline, one dimensional, like Abdul Razak Al Hassan, like that guy. He could probably beat. I would say probably knocks him out. Sam Alvey, I think Sam's still on the roster. They could do that fight. Actually, no, Sam. I know he was like really upset about the last fight because he think he was gonna get cut, but maybe he didn't get cut because it was fight of the night. I don't know. Someone like that though, guys. I mean, like, yeah, maybe it seems like a big step back. I just want to build the kid's confidence back. I had Rothwell and Kubal as my 2 locks. Yeah, for sure. Problem now is confidence. He loses 3 in a row. Woof, that's a big problem. Yeah, no, I agree, man. Even 2 is bad. Rothwell's easy. Yeah, you guys were worried about that. Yeah, Marcel, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, for Hermanson, he was talking about like Costa, Whitaker, winner of Brunson Till. I mean, I feel like all those fights are kind of realistic. Is there someone that you think he should fight?
Yeah, man. Listen, man. The thing is, Whitaker will likely fight the winner of Vettori against Adesanya. So you got Costa against Cannonier, maybe the winner of that one. But I think the winner of Brunson against Till makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the prelims here. Ben Rothwell, we were just talking about in the chat here. Man, he looked great. Beats Chris Barter. I mean, like this was obvious, right? I told you guys, like he's going to destroy him. This fight was very one-sided, I think. Barnett, man, I mean, I feel like he does have some skill and stuff, and obviously he's kind of a funny guy and everything, but like to me, it's like he's like Roy Nelson a little bit, like a guy who's fighting out of his weight class because he doesn't want to get in shape. This guy should try to drop to 205, but I don't think he will. He's going to stay at heavyweight. So I don't know, like he'll get another fight, I guess, because he did help him out. But for Rothwell, I feel like, yeah, I don't know, Marcel. He looked pretty slow in there, though, man. Like I know he won the fight and everything, but he got the submission, and that was awesome. But he looked kind of slow to me, guys. He looked really hittable too. So I feel like maybe Vandera versus him would be a fun fight based on how Vandera looked in this fight. I feel like Vandera could win that fight. At this point in Rothwell's career. To me, he does look like he's on the decline, unfortunately. It's 39, but he's still a smart fighter. He's got a high fight IQ, and I'll give him credit, man. Like he's been in the UFC for a long time, guys. 12 years, still winning fights in the UFC. So kind of like a legend of the heavyweight division, a little bit underrated fighter, but this was an easy fight. Let's just go through the other ones quickly here, Marcel. Corey McGee defeats Claudio Silva. I feel like Claudio's probably going to be released after this fight. The guy has no cardio, Marcel. I mean, I feel like this was another pick that a guy I overlooked there a little bit, McGee. I just thought he'd be able to Silva would be able to kind of beat him on the ground, but it was the other way around. McGee dominated the fight on the ground, looked great. And then Bruno Silva, the other Silva, looked amazing in his fight. against Victor Rodriguez. Knockout 1 minute, Marcel. Josh Kulabau defeats Shaylin Nurden Bieki via decision. That fight was – I didn't like that fight. That fight was kind of a stinker. David Dvorak obviously beats Juan Camilo on Daros. The fight guy took the fight one day notice. Easy fight. And then Demir Ismagulov defeats Rafael Alves. I told you, Marcel, we both talked about Rafael Alves. Man, he dropped Ismagulov in the first 10 seconds, but he went for a guillotine and went on his back. He should have tried to finish him with strikes. He could have won the fight right there. He could have won the fight, but he went for that guillotine. Didn't work out. But he did win the last round. To be honest with you, like that line was minus 500 for Ismagulov. I know he won the first 2 rounds, but man, Alves, for a big underdog, put on a pretty good fight. Give me your thoughts on these other prelims here, Marcel, any of the ones I talked about.
Yeah, man, I think I got to give a huge credit to Court McGee. I totally didn't thought he would win, and he pretty much dominated the fight. He looked really good. I think people were like, is Silva looking that bad, or is Court McGee looking really good? I think it was a combination of a little bit, Silva didn't look good, but Court McGee looked really sharp, man, and congrats to him, and it was a great win for him. The Bruno Silva did what he had to do, what we expected pretty much against Victor Rodriguez. Kulibao tegen Shayilan wasn't a great fight. I think Kulibao won that fight. Dvorak looked good. Listen, man, if you got a short notice replacement, you got to do it like this, man. And Dvorak did it. So good for him. Rothwell against Barnett, like we said, pretty much Barnett is a fun fighter, but I think he kind of lacks quality to be in the UFC heavyweight division, So I'm happy for Rothwell. He won. I look forward to see who's next for Barnett. And Alves Ismagulov. We both called it unanimous decision for Ismagulov, but we both said Alves can do damage, man.
He's not that bad. I think he's a decent fighter, man. He's not that bad, guys. Like he's put up a decent fight as a big underdog there. Let's go to these comments. Rothwell, he should have been like minus 1,000 in this fight. You're right. He should die and go to middleweight, maybe. Rory Nelson, honestly, is the guy who should have been. He's kind of like him a little bit. What are you gonna say? Man,
he already dropped like how many pounds? He's only at 310 or 320.
He's a big dude, but he's so short, 5'9". He's an interesting guy. Like I didn't know he was from Spain either, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Dennis Bonder got injured. Yeah, he would have knocked Victor Rodriguez out too. Probably that guy is really bad. Maybe they do keep him around just to get knocked out by someone, but he's obviously a not UFC caliber fighter. 2 straight knockout losses quickly. Ukrainian like Bonder, that's why I'm mad. That's awesome. You're from Ukraine, man. That's sweet. Too early to cut Claudio, beat Edwards, Taleb, and Roberts. I agree with he's 38, bro, and they cut old guys like all the time now. What do you think, Marcel? I think they're gonna cut him. What do you think?
Me too, to be honest, man. Those wins are a long time ago, man. And he didn't look good in his last 2 fights. He didn't look good against James Cross. He completely gassed in that one, and this one was even worse. He got pretty much beat for 3 rounds. So yeah,
he's got a lot of heart. You know what I mean? Like I still feel like there probably are guys who could be in the roster. You know what I mean? There's probably some guys at the bottom of the division, but overall, I feel like they're gonna release it. All right, let's talk about Bellator a little bit. Let's talk about the main event quick. Let's go through it quickly, Marcel. But there were some upsets on this card. And I know there's someone in particular who Marcel wants to talk about. Oh, let me get this comment here quickly before we go to Bellator. Yeah. You said sad to get another. Yeah, this was terrible, man. This happened 2 hours before the fight started. I had a bunch of lineups in my fantasy. I had to scramble to put in other guys, and it just didn't really work out. I really thought Hadzovic was going to knock out Medeiros. I was banking on him to have him pick up a good score for him, but did end up fighting, so that sucked. I don't know if it was COVID or protocols or something else. What was it,
He said he felt ill, or he didn't feel well, and he was sweating and everything. And they tested him, and he was negative for COVID, so it was something else, but he didn't know what. And they're gonna probably rebook that fight soon. So
yeah, I was gonna say maybe they'll do it in the next card in 2 weeks. Maybe I would hope so, because there's a few fights that there's opponent switches and stuff. Maybe they'll bump one of those fights to the next card. I don't know. They're gonna figure it out. Yeah. Ismagulov versus Ferreira next. Ismagulov, dude, he should be ranked at number 15 or in the top 15. I mean, he did beat Moises, who's number 15, I think. Paul Felder's going to drop out of the rankings, and I think this guy should take his spot in the top 15. I do think he's a top 15 guy right now. It's time for him to fight someone ranked. He's a good fighter. Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that, though. Paul Felder retired. I'm not surprised necessarily because he's talked about it, guys, a little bit, but the timing of it during the broadcast surprised me. I thought but then again, maybe that's a good way to do it. Like Alan Juban went on Twitter and did it in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? And then they did a video package, which I thought was really well done. And same for Felder. I saw a lot of people complaining, saying, why are they doing video package to these guys? They didn't do one for Diego Sanchez and all these guys. It's different. I think when Diego retires and they induct him in the Hall of Fame or whatever one day, which he will be, they'll do a video package for him. these guys work for the UFC now. Obviously, it does help, but they're two of the most respected guys in the business too. They deserve that send off. Go ahead, Marcel.
I agree with you there. But listen, man, I tweeted like this is a beautiful for Juban. First was Juban and
Yeah.
then was Felder. I said it was beautiful. And at the same time, my back of my mind was like they could have done this for Junior Dos Santos and
Yeah.
Alistair Overeem as well, you know. But I didn't
Yeah.
put it there out of respect for Juban and Felder. It's like it's their moment right now, you know. And man, I think the Felder announcement was perfect, to be honest. You know, he's in the booth all the time. You know, he's retiring from fighting.
Yeah.
It was a respectful way. I think it was great for him personally as well. And man, who doesn't love Alan Juban and Paul Felder? Man, both great guys. Actually, great guys for the sport as well. You know, and yeah, I'm happy for them. They're in a good spot, and they can say we quit we quit our fighting career, and we're going to continue with the desk job. You know, I talked with somebody else earlier yesterday about it in the podcast. It's like for some fighters they will keep fighting until they are 45. You know, they just keep fighting. For Felder and Juban is already also a little bit older right now. He actually looks like in his 20s. The guy's in his late 30s. Crazy, but. Yeah, these guys, they have a desk job, so it's beautiful, man. They can still be involved in the sport, but don't have to take that much damage at their age, you know. And I'm happy for them, you know. Great fighters.
Yeah, and here's the other thing though. Like those guys were released. Like they didn't retire. Like Overeem and JS, they were just cut. Same with Sanchez. Like, but they should do like something like a statement or something classier than just like cutting them in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Remember when Rory McDonald left Bellator to PFL? I remember Scott Coker posting on Twitter, "Hey Rory, thank you for everything you did for the company. Wish you best of luck at PFL."
I know Dana could be classy, but he's just a ruthless businessman. That's just how he is.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let me get these comments. What do you like more, Rothwell Romanov or Rothwell Latifi Bozer? I mean, either of them makes sense, I guess. Adam and AJ, nice takes on Bellator. Yeah, AJ nailed a couple dogs. And I did too. Yeah, it was a pretty good card. Let's talk about it quickly, Marcel. Bellator. Cris Cyborg. Did you watch the fight with Smith? I mean, geez, like it was you know, Smith's tough as nails, but it was a beating, and the finish was so explosive at the end of the 5th round. It was awesome seeing her get the knockout. But I mean, let's be honest with you. This fight was going to be like we all knew it was going to be a blowout. She called out Katzengano. Now Scott Coker says he's not sure if that's going to be the fight, but I mean, what other fight is there? I feel like that's the fight to make. Which fight do you like? Yeah, there's no one, right?
That should have been the fight in the first place here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. What else?
You know what? It was pretty entertaining. Smith is tough as nails, like which we knew.
Yeah, okay, I know.
We all knew she was going to lose too. It wasn't competitive. Yeah. That's the problem with Bellator. Like these fights, man, like they're not that competitive sometimes. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like someone's going to get hurt in some of these fights. I'll talk about a few of them coming up, but this fight was super close in the co-main event, and AJ actually said he thought Higo was going to win this fight against Caldwell. So he looked good in this fight, man. Higo picks up the win. I don't even know how Caldwell got a scorecard in his favor, but he looked okay in this one. Let's go through it quickly. Vanderford looked really good with the wrestling, but kind of a boring fight, honestly. You should have got a finish, but Fabian's tough. Jalil Willis wins his fight. Here we got to take out. This is the one I want to talk about, Marcel. Hannah Guy defeats Valerie Rita. So it was a big upset, obviously, according to the odds. But I mean, Valerie's a very inexperienced fighter, and Hannah Guy, you know, a lot of people think this fight was terrible, and it wasn't high level MMA by any means. But I thought this girl looked pretty good, man, on the ground. Like she had good concepts on the ground. She was going for submissions, constantly attacking, moving to inverted triangle for mount. Like I liked her ground game, and you know, they said that she just like recently left college to focus on MMA. Maybe this girl's got some potential, man. I think she's decent, guys. Honestly, the Rita. I don't know what to say about her, man. You know, I feel like, you know, the book's out on her now. I mean, she doesn't have much of a ground game, that's for sure. But, you know, she's super young, 22. I was never sold on her anyways. So I'm not, like, surprised, really, that she lost. I thought maybe she would beat this girl. But, yeah, Marcel, she's got striking but no ground game. So I don't know. What do you think? Like, even her coach was telling her, like, your ground game's atrocious. He was, like, yelling at her in the corner, like, keep the fight standing. That's, like, really embarrassing. What are you going to say?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it's an embarrassment for Bellator to put that fight on the main card, to be really honest. I mean, this was a low-level regional shit to me, you know. This just wasn't a good fight. And I think Hannah Guy did what she had to do, and she took her down on several occasions, and she tried to keep her down. The most fun part of the fight was late in the third round when Hannah Guy rushed in and Valerie was like some spinning thing she did, and then she caught her and she dragged her to the ground. There was a funny moment in the fight. It was the third round, I think.
Yeah.
There are still people who thought Lorena won that fight. It's like, how,
I saw some
think,
people saying that too. That's crazy.
yeah, but also journalists, which annoys me.
Oh,
But
wow.
still Hannah Guy, she did well. What she had to do. She was where do you say that, a big underdog in the fight. Lorena is very oversold by Bellator in my opinion. She's also number 8 on the ranking, which doesn't make sense at all to me. But and listen, Lorena still has a big learning curve. She still can develop. She can still get better. Don't get me wrong. She's only 22 years of age, but stop pushing somebody because she looks good or because how she sells herself. That's something I don't like in this, and people get really upset when you say that. That's why I don't say it on Twitter.
There's your girl, Marcel. There she is. There she is.
That's it. People get really upset when I say that. But hey, man, I don't mind those kind of pictures. You got to do what you got to do, right? But you might be in the wrong branch, I think. But hey, that's just my opinion.
I mean, obviously she's a good-looking girl. I mean, she did look like even in this, like she did drop the girl in the first round, but she fell apart in the ground. I don't know. She's talking about you can't teach her. I'm 22. You're watching my career develop in front of your eyes. To my fans, I love you. And she's telling me how all the fans were saying like good things about her and stuff. Like that's cool, but you got your ass beat kind of by someone who's a nobody. So I don't know, man. She's gonna have to take a step back, guys. But obviously, she's very attractive. We all know that. That's why they're pushing her. But if you can't. Here's the thing, like you said, Marcel, if you can't fight in the ground in MMA, you're not going to go very far. They can give her another mismatch against someone who has no ground game, but what's the point?
They will.
Huh?
They will.
And they will. Yeah, I agree. All right, let me get to some other ones here. Some comments. Bellator's trying to get MMA banned with their mismatches. The prelim heavyweight fight. Yeah, I agree. That was terrible. She's just using her platform. Yeah, for sure. She makes more modeling than MMA. Maybe. I don't know if she's just using her platform. She said like she's committed to being a champion in the sport. Like she's training at ATT. It's not like she's half in on this. Like I feel like she is all in her career. I just don't know if she is the best fighter, honestly.
She compared herself to the female Edson Barboza.
Yeah, that's nuts. They had 20. Nice bet. I mean, good bet. It's an easy like what $80 or whatever. It's a good bet. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, again, she's got some good striking. She showed in this fight again, but that's all she's got. All right, let's go to some other fights quickly. Sadawad, this is a guy I did call as an upset here. Marcel against Nate Andrews. He was like a plus 300 underdog. The line didn't make sense here. Knocks on Nate Andrews. Sadawad's been around for a long time. He's still got KO power. Grant Neal submits Tyree Fortune, looked good. Sumiko Inaba defeats Christina Katsikis. That fight, man, not a great fight. Aviv Gonzalez defeats Sean Felton, excuse me. Again, the mismatch. Didn't see the point of that. Then the Franklin King fight. This King guy's been knocked out in 6 straight fights. Like he shouldn't be fighting anymore. He's being knocked out every single fight for like 6 straight fights. That's crazy. Leah McCourt defeats Janae Harding. You know what, man? It looked like the fight was not going her way, and she turned it around. She had an up kick followed by a triangle choke. So awesome. Great finish. Surprised me. I mean, I think me and AJ both picked her, but it was surprising how nice the finish was. Go ahead.
I really like Leah McCourt, man. She
missed weight for this fight, Marcel. We should mention that.
That's what I want to say. That was surprising to me. She's a really, how do we say that? A really classy and always on point athlete. So I was kind of surprised with that. I don't know what happened there, but man, Leah is good. And if Leah can continue this, she might be soon for Cyborg, man. This is 145, right? And maybe it's too early, but I wouldn't be surprised because. Listen, man, Leah, she got the quality. She's a good fighter, and let's be honest, she's looking good as well. So she can have that whole package, and she also did desk jobs before for Bellator. She's just a very good person for Bellator in Europe as well. So she can sell the fight to go to a title shot at a certain point. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's fighting for a title later this year or even early 2022.
Yeah, no, she looked good. And then Danny Sabatel was a guy that AJ really liked. And I thought he had a good chance to win, too, against Brett Jones because he's got that really grindy, heavy wrestling-based style. Like AJ was saying he's kind of like Gregor Gillespie. Yeah, I kind of agree with him a little bit. Like he's got that grindy style. He's not much of a finisher, though. He's kind of a boring fighter. So I can see why Dana White didn't sign him. But at the same time, I think the UFC should have signed him. And I think they should have signed Vanderford, too. But, both guys are grinding wrestling types. Maybe that's not what Dana wants, I guess, guys, Even though they're good, obviously, at wrestling, dominating fights. Maybe that's not what the UFC wants. And Dana White's made that clear. He likes guys that finish fights, and Savatel is a decision guy, but he's a good bet. He's a great bet. And then Alexander Sabli that defeats Alfie Davis. So overall, I mean, it was a decent card. Valerie went from respectful Taekwondo master to being another girl on the street corner of your internet bookmarker. Sensei should pull down her pictures of the dojo. I mean, you're being a little bit harsh. I think the girl, is a little bit overconfident. I'll say that, but you know what, man? She's doing really well. She's obviously making a lot of money, and we're talking about her, so it's working, right? But it's not like we're saying the nicest things at the same time, right?
But that's a real big problem in the world right now. Oh, we're making money, so everything is good, No, man, you got to have some self-respect as well.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like everyone's like doing. I'm not saying she is, but the only fans thing I know that a lot of people are doing that. I don't know, man. I don't know if I want those pictures on the internet. I mean, not like anyone would be paying for mine anyways, but you know what I mean. All right, Valerie can say whatever she wants. Doesn't mean she's the truth. Can you admit that she's MMA for fun? I don't know if she's in it for fun. I think she is using it for a platform. I agree with you on that, but I feel like she's a little bit. I feel like she's buying into her own hype a little bit too much. That's what I'll say. She's a little bit too overconfident for someone who just lost that fight. Yeah, it was a good finish, but yeah, you know what? Her wrestling is definitely an issue. She's got to work on that. McCourt has never traveled far before. I think the jet lag. Yeah, maybe for sure. Because Sheila's not happy you posted Valerie. I think she's obviously a good-looking girl, man. I think your comments are a little bit out of line there. You know what I mean? But as a fighter, I don't think she's great. But
why? What'd he say?
I don't know. He's just making some comments about Valerie, and we don't need to put her down, guys. Like,
sure.
Yeah, we're talking about her fighting, anyways. Like, from a looks point of view, I mean, there's no issue there. You know what I mean? But her ground game is not good. Her coach was telling her it's atrocious. Like, that's like the ultimate burn.
The only thing I really can't stand, that's why I don't say anything about Valerie on Twitter, is that when you say something about her, which is not even insulting, it's just like what you think, people are going to defend her honor. Like, she's not going to shag you guys. I mean, really, for real. I mean, come on.
Wow, yeah. Listen to Marcel, it's true. It's a lot of people that are probably hitting her up saying, like, oh, good job, like, great fight, you're my favorite fighter, but it's like, yeah, I don't know why. I never understood people like that. It's just weird. Anyways, yeah. So that's it for that card. There were some other cards, wasn't there? LFA. Did you watch it? Yeah, did you watch it? So there was a big upset in the main event. Gregory Rodriguez knocked out Josh.
He got signed, right?
And now he's fighting in UFC now. He got signed.
Yeah.
Who's he fighting?
Duško Todorovic.
He's fighting. Oh, Dusko. In the next card, or is it the next one?
Yeah, it's June 5th. Yes.
So there's the replacement for Maki Pitolo, guys. Yeah, Rodriguez was on Contender Series. He fought. Let me pull it up here. He fought Jordan Williams, who's like kind of like not really UFC caliber, and he lost a decision. I think it was pretty close fight. I think it was really close. Right?
KO.
It was a KO. Sorry, my bad, guys. I'm confusing with something else. My apologies. Williams had another fight that was super close, which was, I think, the Ramazan fight. My bad. Yeah, that's the one that was close that he lost. But this guy does have 2 back-to-back wins now over Matt Teveo.
He's not at Sanford, bro.
He's at Sanford?
Yeah.
Oh, so he was at X Gym from Jacare was there. All those guys went to Florida. They all live in Florida now. Jacare trains at Fusion XL though. That's a little different, I think. But yeah, this guy's pretty good. It's a good signing, and yeah, against Dusko it should be a good fight. That'd be an interesting one. Sorry, just
have you watched the Invicta card?
We'll talk about that in a second. I just want to get through the LFA a little bit. Was there anything else on the card to talk about? Fremd obviously was supposed to be this big prospect that got knocked out. Anything else that stood out to you?
I only saw the main event, man. It was too much together. There was Bellator, LFA, and
no, of course,
Invicta.
Yeah.
So
I didn't. I only saw the main event too. So yeah, it was a really nice knockout. I'd love to pay attention to all of it. I do try to pay attention to some of the LFA. Obviously, do the opening odds, but it's hard to do everything. And then the other card was Invicta, which I didn't get a chance to watch. I'll be honest.
I saw the title fights.
I can't say what the fights were like from a too educated point of view because I didn't watch it, but we'll go through the results together. Karina Rodriguez defeats Diana Torquato. Tell me about these fights. You watched it?
I saw, yeah, good decision, man. Karina also tagged her in the third or fourth round. I think she knocked her down, and she almost finished her. So some weird scorecards, but good win for Karina Rodriguez. I think she decides she won, But the co-main event was a bad scorecard, man. That was bad.
Okay, so Alicia Zapatella defeats Jessica Correa Del Boni. Okay, so who should have won this fight then?
Del Boni won that fight for me, 49-46.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, I didn't see
Yeah.
the fight, so I don't know. So was it bad? It was a kind of a controversial decision, or?
Yeah, I would say 100%, man. I think I think Del Boni did enough to win that fight, so I think she was better overall. And yeah, definitely should watch it back and let me know what you think, man. I think Del Boni won that fight.
Yeah, it's not on Fight Pass anymore. That's the problem, right? I don't have the channel.
I could watch it on YouTube for. I don't know.
Really?
Because,
Okay.
Yeah, maybe not. No, maybe not in Canada.
I don't think so because
we'll
there's a
see
channel here that it's called Fight Network. I just don't have it right now. It's like
Okay.
pay an extra I don't know, is it $5 or $10? I just don't have it because I don't have a need for it. But anyways, I have Fight Pass. I love Fight Pass. But yeah, I'm sure I'll see the fight at some point. Then the other fights. Yeah, anything else on this card? Like, was there anything else that stood out to you? Let me see. Was there any upsets here? This card.
Not as far as I know. I only saw the two title fights, so I can't say anything else.
Yeah. Okay. We'll move on to something else. Sadawa destroyed his winning parlay. That's too bad. I'm thinking tomorrow, Marcel, you're going to join me tomorrow, right, for the podcast?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm thinking for tomorrow, maybe we'll just do questions and answers and stuff, guys. We'll have
Cool.
we'll stay for as long as we can. If we don't have to do the full hour, that's fine too. But maybe we'll look at some fights and stuff. We'll quickly look at some fights, Marcel.
I'm down.
Let's look at a couple. Actually, you know what? Let's just do it tomorrow. We'll go through the fights together, the upcoming fights.
I have more time for it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So if you guys have any last second questions or anything, throw them in the chat now. We got 5 minutes left, so throw them in the chat, guys. We'll answer them. Let me just see what kind of news there was out there today. Pull up EJ Penn. All right, let's see. Okay, so we got to talk about this. We'll talk about this quickly. Josh Fabia, he's out there accusing Diego Sanchez of being a drug addict and stuff now, and saying he was using him. This guy is a scumbag, man. He's such a bad guy for the sport. I feel like now that Diego's left him, I feel like Dana White might give him another fight in the UFC. I honestly feel like it. They might bring him back to fight Cowboy, But it's just a sad story, whatever happened here, guys. What do you think?
I hope so, man. I hope so. I also feel like that people should stop talking about Josh Fabia, man. Now he's gone with Sanchez.
I agree. Let's not even talk about him. You know what? Screw him. Yair Rodriguez, though, he was cut by the UFC, and then they re-signed him after. Remember, he was supposed to fight in Kabachi, and they brought him back. So it's possible that they could, change their mind. But the thing is, Diego's really old, and I feel like all this stuff out there with the brain injury, they might not even want to, touch him anymore. But this whole thing about him throwing the fight against Chiesa, that's just ridiculous. Guy's a weirdo, man. I'm just trying to see what else was out there. Oh, yeah, what about this guy? Fal Vake died of injury suffered in assault. He got sucker punched. He's a teammate of Adesanya. He's a 2-0 amateur, I believe he was. Man, rest in peace. I mean, this is so awful. What a terrible thing to wake up to when I saw this today. I was like, damn. Yeah, that's just terrible, Marcel. It's really sad that's happened. And the people that did this should be held responsible. I know that they said that there's some issues with the they call it coward punching laws or something, from punching someone from behind. It's a cheap shot, man. Cheap shot guy, and it killed him. So any thoughts on this guy passing away?
Yeah, I have to be honest. I didn't know this guy, but that doesn't make it any less worse. And I wish him or his family and his friends all the best in their loss. It's awful these things happen, and rest in peace to him, man.
Yeah, we are going to do it, Pavlo. I just checked. It's June 11th, so it's actually a couple of weeks from now. So we have a little bit of time for that. There's no card this weekend, but me and Marcel will talk about it. We'll talk about the upcoming fights tomorrow. Josh Fabia was a crazy dude. He's nuts. I think once that video came out of him getting punched and kicked while he was hanging upside down, that was really weird. I was like, what is this?
With the knife against Emil Mack.
Yeah, that was weird too. When he's in the cage, he's running around. He's like, come on, now you got to run. That was so weird. This is a great question from Glenn. Who's Tatiana face now? She's moving to 125. Love the question. Yeah, I'm excited about this, man. She's a huge girl. She was huge at 115. I thought that she was going to be a future champion, but injuries, necessitated her missing 2 years. She's going to come back now. She wants to fight this summer. I'm looking at the top 10. Chookagian?
Yeah, give her
number 2
right off the bus.
You could do that. I was thinking Jessica I or Calderwood or even like Modafferi, someone like that, just to get her because she's going to be a bit rusty. Dana White said that he said specifically he's like she's going to be rusty, so they're not going to, I don't think, shove her into a huge fight right away. But maybe Chookagian, maybe they do the fight.
I love that fight, man, because then Chookagian has to be really on her, has to really watch out for those takedowns,
So you got to keep going. Yeah. Maybe they'll do the fight, but I think like even Jessica Eye would be a fine introduction to the division, something like that. Diego Zerza retire in front of fans. I agree. They should just do that fight, Diego Cerrone. But these guys, we like to say that, man, but how often do these guys actually stick to their retirements? They never do, bro. They never do. Even Chuck Liddell came back and fought. Chris Lieben came back and fought. Chris Lytle even fought.
I saw a poster the other day with Chuck Liddell, and it's like, oh my God, no. And then I saw he was like announcing a fight for two other guys, like, thank God.
Yeah. Katya could try to wrestle Valentina, but she's not before she eats a few combos to the head. She might win that fight. I mean, we have to see how she looks in her next fight. I have no idea. Like, I feel like she's going to come back strong, but we'll see. But I think Valentina is a tough fight for anyone. David Zhao smashed that like, hell yeah, man. Smashed that like, okay, we got a couple minutes, guys. Any last questions, throw them in there. But yeah, I think that would be interesting, Marcel. I'm just looking where else. This guy, Logan Paul, I don't know if you saw this, but he says he's going to fight he wants to fight in MMA once. I think he'll get a fight, and they did it during the Bellator card. So I feel like, with Jake Paul signing with Showtime, I think they're going to do some cross motion with Bellator. What do you think? Think it's going to happen?
Who?
The Paul brothers.
Who?
And Bellator. Come on, man. I mean, listen, even if you don't like them.
I don't know. What do you think? What do I have to say about it? I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, probably somebody will give him a fight. I wouldn't even be surprised, and I honestly have no idea what to think about it. I think at MMA these guys get smashed, But yeah,
I agree. But you know what? If he wants to do it, I think Bellator and Scott Coker have no problem doing it. Dana White doesn't want to promote him, but I don't think Scott Coker is beneath promoting the Paul brothers. I don't think it's a big deal either. I feel like people don't like these guys, but they obviously know how to promote themselves. They make a lot of money. Jake Paul or Logan Paul's fighting Floyd Mayweather like in a couple weeks. That's a big fight, It's a stupid fight, but it's a big fight. After 47 Zuma fights, Cerrone's only getting around. I know. When I saw that, man, when he said he got $200,000 for the Conor fight, that's so sad. And no pay-per-view points or something, like, and just bad management. But no wonder he just like went down after the first head kick. He was just like, screw it, get my $200,000 and not take any more punishment. Boxing young man sport. Hope Logan Paul knocks off Floyd. He won't. He's a lot bigger and stuff, but he's gonna get destroyed, guys. Come on. The interviewer spoke to Fabe was great. Yeah. It's possible they were. And her name's Summer Helen, I think, or it's her name. It's possible they would give him a stand-up guy the negative record for what's possible.
Probably.
You think so? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they do that Dylan Dennis fight, not in MMA. They'll do that in boxing because Dylan would just take him down in MMA. They need someone they can stand up with, right, in MMA. And then just the last thing, they announced this fight the other day, really quickly, Marcel. Sean Brady and Kevin Lee. Quick thoughts on this fight, and then plug your stuff.
Great fight, man. I really love it. I think Sean Brady is the future of that division. One of the future guys in the division. Kevin Lee is a tough fight, man. People saying he's ducking Rafael Fiziev. I was like, yeah, you can't really say that when he's fighting Sean Brady and when he fought Charles Oliveira before that. I don't think that's true. But I mean, he's going to welterweight right now. He's going back to welterweight. He was supposed to go to welterweight. He came back to lightweight. Now he's at welterweight again. So I have to see how he looks, man. I think it's a tough task to fight against Sean Brady, but it's a fun matchup, and I'm looking forward to it, man. July 10th, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's on UFC 264, so that's a really obviously a big card there, guys. I'm looking forward to that. And there's some big fights coming up. Like I said, we do have a break this week, which I think is much needed, to be honest with you, Marcel. Like, I feel like our last couple of cards, we haven't been doing that great with our picks, so we need a break for a week, guys. Get our brains to think about stuff in a different manner. Anyways, you guys can follow me on Twitter at MMAOB News, BJPen.com, betting, MMAOddsbreaker.com, and Elite Fantasy Elite betting. What else do I got coming up? Miami News got the news and stuff there as well, guys. And then Fantasy Fanatics, working with those guys. Great app, man. Seriously, if you guys don't have that app, it's awesome. It's free. Great way to pick the fight. You know what, Marcel? My fiance, she watches the fights with me, right? She's been picking the fights. She honestly picks them just by kind of like reading up their stats and like looking at like some pictures and stuff. And she's been doing better than us. And she picked all these upsets like Dumont and Vandera. I'm like, why'd you pick Vandera? She's like, because he's taller. And then he goes in there and beats him. I'm like, oh man, you're so smart. And you know what I mean? She's been killing it. She's actually, can you believe it or not? I gotta give her a shout out here. she's in first place in the month of May on the app out of anyone, which is so nuts. You know what I mean? So she clearly knows a little bit about the sport. So it's cool. Last couple of comments. Charles Oliveira fought 28 fights, 11 years, finally got the belt. Yep, for sure. Amosov Lima. Marcel, quickly, like 5 seconds.
Amosov Lima. My pick would probably be Amosov.
You know what?
I really like Amosov.
Yeah, Amosov, okay. I got to think about it a bit more because it's 2 weeks. I was going to ask you to wait, but it's okay. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thanks again for everyone tuning in. I'll be back with Marcel tomorrow.